he is the man who, when he was in our studio recently, I've had more of the people in the community come and stop me because they were upset because they never got their photo with him. Yet there I was blasting all over my social media that I got a photo with him. His name is Mike Makaab. He's a South African football coach, and agent at least, the founder and chief executive officer of Pro Sport International, and he's got one of the biggest shows on one of our local stations, Gagazi. You are amazing, Mike Makaab, and thank you so much for coming in today.
Kerry, it's a pleasure, and it's crazy that I sit here with you today and I think back so many years when you terrorized my house, running around my house in Manning Road with my daughters.
What? You don't remember that?
I most definitely do.
I was saying to the boys before you came in, when we were younger, and this is the amazing thing, is that you were always you just dadded. You never came with that attitude of, I'm a someone, even though you always have been such a someone. You were just Lisa, Mike, and Taryn's dad, and you dadded us hard, and you were great with us, and you allowed us to have fun without allowing us to break the rules. Your house was always remarkably tidy. I remember that, before we arrived at least. And you were part of the community that grew us up, so thank you for that, really.
It's an absolute pleasure, and it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you. I walk past your beautiful little station every single day of my life, because as you know, I live just down the road.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed at what you guys have done here in such a short space of time. I think it's incredible.
Thank you. I'm really proud. And you know what, and this is the thing, is that I know that when we think Mike Makaab, of course you think football, agents, soccer, like hundreds and thousands and even millions of views online. However, the conversations that Mike and I have it just happens always that we go deep. It's always about, ego versus humility, which was this morning's, or just manifesting the life that you want. And these are the things. And so that's really more of the route I want to go to, because you're a very successful man. And I think that people sometimes forget that success doesn't come with walking over people and on people. It comes from putting people first and, coming from a heart-led space. But before we get there, Mike, for those people who don't know, what was your journey to get to where you are now? Where did you grow up? And how early on did the soccer thing become a thing?
So I was born in Mayfair, Johannesburg, which alarmingly or crazy that Orlando Pirates have a connection to Mayfair in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
That will obviously come out later in my story.
Yeah.
But so that was where I was born. My family moved to Durban when I was 5 years old. Did my schooling at a convent school called St. Agnes in Stamford Hill Road.
Wait, a convent school for reals?
Yeah, absolutely, run by nuns.
No!
Yes, absolutely. And from there...
What was their soccer program like?
No, it was non-existent. No, in actual fact, to be honest with you, we became Durban Schools champions.
No.
Under 13, we beat Mansfield at the main ground in Kingsmead. I think it was 2-0 that day.
This market decides signing new players. Listen, I saw you grade 3, come over here, I've got a spot for you.
And I happened to be in the team.
For real? What was your position?
Left back.
Is that what does left back mean?
So left back is a defensive position. In those days it was a defensive position. Today it's a bit of both. Ultimately played in the defence. So in those days played a back four, and you were on the left of the back four. Right back, left back, and the two central defenders were ordinarily your back four. So that was St. Agnes. Left St. Agnes to go to Glenwood High School.
Yes.
Did my high school at Glenwood. Then left Durban and home to move to Johannesburg.
Okay.
To study analytical chemistry.
What?
Yes.
No, literally.
No,
what?
Literally.
What is analytical chemistry?
Okay, it's basically a branch of industrial chemistry. I worked for Coca-Cola, and I...
Did you now? Interesting.
And I studied part-time. That's where I met my childhood sweetheart.
No way.
She was 16 years old.
Stop it.
I was 19. So Charmaine and I have been together for 51 years.
What?
got married 3 years after I met her. I was in the army doing my compulsory national service when I married her.
Wait, you were in the army when you married her?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
did you, obviously you got married in the same space, or did you do like a Bluetooth wedding?
No, we got married in the same space.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
51 years, Mike.
51 years. 50. In actual fact, I was in the army when I engaged her, and just got out of the army when I married her. But it's 51 years together. And as you know, we have 3 children. You know them well.
Yes.
Lisa, who's my eldest, Taryn and Michael, and 6 grandchildren. Dylan at 20 years old.
I can't believe
Stelly's.
Dylan's 20. That's
And then
wild.
we've got 4 that came one after the other. Jordan is turning 13, Carter 12, Arla 11, and Victoria 10.
Christmas is an expensive affair in that household.
But then I'll tell you something strange as well. And then obviously young Michael, baby Michael was born, and he's turning 2.
No ways.
My birthday is the 2nd of March, which is around the corner.
Yes.
My grandchildren are born on the 16th, 17th, 19th, and 27th of March.
Oh my gosh!
11th and 17th of April.
Okay, so this is like, that's the time you sell everything you can sell at that point.
Well, you've sold everything in December, and you then have to sell again around March.
So yeah, look at for Mike Makaab on Foot Finders.
or Back a Buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you went the clean route. Damn it, man. Okay, so wait, you and Shah, 51 years.
Yes.
I have to just go back there again because how and what makes a relationship go for 51 years? Besides just a promise in front of God, because let's be honest, that some people can't keep that agreement for other reasons, you know? So beside because I said to God forever, a lot of people say to God forever and they don't forever, but you two are 51 years in. If you had to say what has been one of the most beneficial things to a relationship to last half a century?
I think that first and foremost, God is the center of our union.
Yeah.
He really is. Well, she really is.
I love you for that. She is.
So God is the center of our union. And like everything in life, if something is worthwhile, you persevere.
Yeah.
I have to ask you the question, why are you here? Because you're persevering and you're making something work.
Yes.
It's crazy how often we spend so much time and effort on building our careers, amassing material wealth, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
And yet we don't accord the same care and commitment
respect and or dedication, hey?
to relationships.
Sure.
And I think that's it. She would have thrown me over the balcony many times if she had a choice, and I think I would have done the same. But the truth is, communication is important.
Yes. Yes.
And sitting down and telling each other what you really need from each other, as opposed to trying to change that person.
Have you always had emotional intelligence? And I'm asking you this now because maybe you can say, up until 30, no, but then after 30, when is it that because Mike, again, you are one of the men who I have some of the deepest conversations with.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll just be walking past, we'll stop for a hot second, and maybe I've said something like, sure, Mike, business is hard at the moment or something, and then, we're going down this beautiful, positive rabbit hole about, what it is to have stuff, and what is stuff, and what's important, and what's going to take your joy, and all of this stuff. So when is it that you had that change, I guess, to becoming such a mindful man?
Probably the last 10 to 15 years of my life, that's all.
And what triggered it?
An understanding of myself, self-awareness,
Sure.
Deconstructing ego, understanding that the world doesn't revolve around you. We had that discussion. And if you look at the bigger picture, you're not even a grain of sand in the bigger picture.
Because you've always been treated like a someone, People go from whenever you started this, people stop, they want your photos, they want your opinion, they want your signature, they want you when you're doing well, and then when you're not, did you ever have the kind of what they call trolling now, where someone is really harsh on you, or the sports stars deal with it, you make the kick, you're amazing. You miss it, you're shit.
Well, Clive Barker said to me, the late Clive Barker, who was my mentor, my football coach and my mentor in football, he said to me the day that I won the league with Orlando Pirates, he said, your life is never going to be the same. Your friends will be your enemies, and your enemies will double their efforts to be your enemies.
My God.
And he wasn't wrong. You understand, the crazy thing is, in both parts and journeys of your life, and we all have them, in your low points and in your very high points, you understand who your true friends are.
Sure.
In your low points, they will disappear. In your high points, they're around, but they're not your friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so somewhere in between, when you're in between high and low, you find a group of people that are with you all the time and don't demand more or less from you. And the crazy thing is, it's my close family and a handful of true friends. And that's with whom I focus my energy and my relationships, are those people, because they're the ones that give me the fuel to live a purposeful and a meaningful life. And that's another thing. It's taken me a long time to understand what my purpose and meaning is in life. And I think I've almost got there. I haven't got there yet. I've still got a little while to go.
Wow. You know, when I'm listening to this, even there's so many questions in my head. I want to go so many different routes, but the first thing that came to mind was, have you ever had your heart broken by a player? And what I mean by that, so the fact that you even, and I was just asking that now because even me now in this situation, I'm by no means a coach, but I've got a team under me and we play together, but I'm also kind of leading them and I feel like I'm a bit responsible for them. But if Devek said to me now, oh, by the way, going to East Coast, for example, I would want him to fly and I'd want him to do well, I'd be heartbroken. Does that happen? I mean, as an agent, have you had anything like that happen, or is it a lot of good long-term relationships of people that you have mentored and still come to you and say, Mike, thank you for everything, thank you, I'm so proud, I'm so grateful, or, you know, ego's ego, sport to sport?
I think it's a mixed bag.
Okay.
I know. I've been disappointed and gutted many times in my career as a football agent. Or as a sports agent, because prior to football as well, I've sold a rugby division, sold a cricket division, but we represented, as pro sport, we represented 8 rugby Springbok captains.
Whoa!
Oh yeah. We represented New Zealanders like Andrew Mertens, Justin Marshall, Sean Fitzpatrick.
What?
In rugby, I would like to believe that at one stage, one of the top 2 companies globally in rugby. My partner and I, we merged our 2 businesses way back in April 2001 to form Pro Sport International. So this year in April, Pro Sport is 25 years old.
Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you. And then we also had a very strong cricket division where we looked after players like Graham Smith, Makai Antini, and a whole host of others. We looked after Rag Nettling, Penny Haynes, and your current Olympic president, Kirsty Coventry. When she was a swimmer. So yeah, we diversified in sport, and along the way developed different divisions within the company, an events division, a sponsorship and endorsement division, a PR division. So it was all interconnected and it was an organic growth. We had to grow that way.
Yeah.
In the last 4 or 5 years, basically to simplify my life. Sold the rugby division to a very big company called Octagon, sold the cricket division internally to a wonderful young man called John Kent, who played for the Proteas, and he headed our cricket division, and purely now focused on football. So it's been a full circle. But yeah, I've had many instances where I've been massively disappointed, where I've honestly felt, and it's the truth in life in general. And you've got to be brutally honest when you say this, and you can't sugarcoat it. How many people have real empathy?
Yeah.
Where they don't only consider themselves. Sympathy is one thing. I can sympathize with you and say, hell, I'm sorry this has happened to you. But when the real crunch comes and I've got to meaningfully support you, I don't have the empathy. It's a massive difference. So it's a hard industry. But then again, you have to look at it through the lens of the other person. If you look at life through your own lenses, and you look at others around you, and you judge them based on your lenses and the way you look at them, you are going to be disappointed every single time. So if I have a football player that I've done everything for, and he decides he's going to do something behind my back and he's going to sign a football contract without my involvement, I can be emotionally touched for no more than a few minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
I can be disappointed and maybe even angry for no more than a day. And then when I've allowed things to settle, I've got to sit back and look at his actions through his own lenses. Where does he come from? What is his background? How desperate is he? Have I done the right job for him?
Wow.
Or does he think I've done the right job for him? So you look at all of these things. And if you can try and find that sort of emotional balance, you'll continue doing what I'm doing. And I've been in it now for 28 years. But if you don't, it'll break you down to a point where it becomes something that you detest.
Yes.
Not even dislike.
Yes.
Detest. And you harbor that bitterness. And who can go around life?
Well, this they say, a body in dis-ease chooses disease. And I've been hearing that so much lately, that all this energy in motion, which is our emotion, if we just let it sit there, and it just sits, whether it's sitting in our gallbladder, our liver, our cells, it sits there, it's toxic. It's like having a swimming pool that's so green, and you're trying to swim in it, and the body becomes diseased. And then yesterday, actually, I heard it again, that if we don't make time for our wellness now, we will be forced to make time for our illness later. And that also comes from the mental space, because just like you're saying now, if someone does something to you, you decide to take it on. That's you now, you've taken it on.
Yeah.
And you're choosing to hold on to this thing when actually we need to be free of that, so our bodies can be clear, so we can be happy and literally healthy.
My son Michael, who's my mentor, believe it or not, and my guru.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's a young man of 38, but he's had to deal with a lot in his own life.
So he's followed in your footsteps quite.
Oh yes, yeah. He runs our global division very successfully, has a completely different model, but a very successful model where we place top young African talent at a young age into Europe through scouting them through an algorithm that they've developed. He's got more data scientists and engineers working for him than he has football agents. Yeah, so that's how we've developed a very successful scouting model for the African continent, which is very difficult to scout in unless you go and do it physically. And Michael said this to me. He said, Dad, when you decide to take an action, whatever that might be, if it's a legal action, if it's an action against somebody that has done something to you, whatever that might be, first and foremost, decide what you want from the outcome.
Yeah.
Put all of your pride and your ego aside and say to yourself, if you're victorious, what have you achieved? And is that really the outcome that you want?
Oh, wow. So whether it's like money versus happiness,
Or is it worthwhile pursuing it, or you're only pursuing it to prove a point?
Oh, Michael.
Okay. No. So,
well done.
So sometimes you have to follow your ethics and your principles and say, no, it cannot happen all the time, because if I allow this to happen, it's going to be taken advantage of going forward. I'm going to set a precedent. But there are also times where even if the outcome is positive for you, it's going to have no benefit to yourself or the other party.
I actually experienced that in my life once.
Of course you have.
I totally feel that, and I realized post that it was me resisting what was happening for my benefit, and I'm so grateful it happened, because I was fighting this thing, and eventually I was forced to let go. And when I let go, it was almost as if the universe caught me so quickly. I was like, I was holding onto this barbed wire branch when there was this beautiful cushion below me. And when I was forced to let go and the cushion was there, and I looked at these bleeding hands and I was like, and it's been such a beautiful lesson, because now when something happens and I go to the resistance, I'm like, wait, can we just jump forward to the part where we know that you are supported and this is for your benefit and life is happening for you, not to you, and move, as you said, past that quicker. because the stamping of the feet and the it's not fair is just you resisting what is, and that's childish.
You've animated something here in front of me. You've closed your fists and said grasping, and then you've opened your hands. And the truth is, when you've closed your fists and you're holding on to something, you can never open your hands to receive.
Oh.
And so you cut that out. So here I am, I'm fighting for something, okay? And I'm completely forgetting about what I really want to achieve here, and by doing that, I'm not going to receive, because my whole energy and the majority of my time is spent on something totally negative that does not have a desired outcome that is of benefit to me. So but you know, I can sit here and discuss this with you.
That's what I'm saying. People are tuning in going, Mike Makaab, the sports agent. Wait, what? Wait, I think it's this.
But I can sit here and discuss this with you, and I might be talking to a 20-year-old Kerry Lee Miller. And no matter how much advice I give you through my personal experience, you're going to take a pinch of it. But you're going to have to experience it yourself.
Very true.
Because if you don't, your growth as a person is not going to happen.
Yeah, we have to experience the downs. And you know, there's another thing, and I'm sure we've spoken about this before, the term anti-fragility. So you have the fragile, which is something that if it gets hit, it breaks, it crashes like a vase. You get the resistant, so like imagine a rubber something where you hit it and it comes back to its shape, so it goes back to where it was. And then anti-fragility, anti-fragile, maybe let's say a basketball, you hit it down, it comes back higher.
Yeah.
You go down again, it comes back even higher. And that idea that to jump the highest, if I say to you boys right now, if someone's going to get a prize for jumping the highest, the first thing you do is crouch down in order to get that highest.
Low. To get high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Question now, you were just talking about working with cricket, rugby, obviously football.
Yeah.
Was there any other sport?
Swimming. Surfing.
And surfing.
And golf.
Who are the hardest sportsmen and women to work with? Is there a specific, that could be like, the swimmers are divas, or the rugby boys were the,
No.
Are they
I think
equally good or equally bad?
No, I just think it's, in general, in anything, you will get those who are more difficult to work with than others for various reasons, and not for the same reason. The biggest challenge we have as a company is to meet expectation. Don't forget that each and every single individual has self-expectation.
Yes.
Of where they believe they should be at this stage of their career.
Do they work for you or do you work for them?
We work for them.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. And if a lot of the time the expectation is unrealistic, it may not be too unrealistic, but at times it is incredibly unrealistic. And when the gap between reality and expectation is too big, that's where the issues begin.
Yeah, because you're in disappointment land there.
And then that's the gap that competitors in our industry will take to come to Kerry Lee Miller and say, listen, what is your agent doing for you? You're playing for the Sharks, and in effect you should be playing for, and I'm using the Sharks as a poor example because they're a top franchise.
Yes, but I know what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
let's say you're playing for the PlayZN players, but you should be playing for the Sharks.
Correct. Okay. And that's the gap that most agencies will use to entice a person to move from one to the other.
And then as an agent,
yes,
whether it's pro sport or you as a person, how does a payment work? Because like I've got an agent for voiceovers or MC,
yes,
and then she'll find the work and then she takes a percentage of whatever, and then I get. Is that how a sports agent will work?
So let me now focus on football.
Yes.
Licensed agents are governed by FIFA, which is the mother body of football worldwide.
Yes.
They have a set of rules and regulations to which agents have to comply. Okay. And therefore that includes how you charge commission, who you can charge commission to, what level of commission you can charge. So it's governed.
And it's not just, I presume, for games. It's for like endorsements and...
Well, endorsements is something completely different. That's not governed by FIFA. That's a completely different side of things. That's image and autograph rights.
Oh.
So a sports celebrity will have a certain number of different sources of income. One being, it may not be his, for example, in the States, if you're a great golfer, your biggest money isn't made on the prize money, it's made through your endorsements.
Sure,
by a mile.
Yes.
Okay, your top. In South Africa, it's a little bit different. The top players in South Africa earn the majority of their big income through their contractual relationships with their employer, their direct employer, which is a rugby union, a cricket union, a football club. So these rules and regulations that govern football agents, licensed football agents, are strictly applied, or should be strictly applied by FIFA, the association that you work under. So I'm under the South African Football Association.
Yeah.
And then all the participants, the football players, the football clubs, need to abide by those rules and regulations. Otherwise, there are various sanctions that are applicable.
And then do all of our football clubs, and I mean, please, I'm sports 101 here, so if I'm asking questions, but do all our football clubs have to be under those rules, or can they choose to?
No, they have to be. So the Premier Soccer League, or the Betway Premiership, the top 16 teams, and then the 16 teams in the Motsepe, the Motsepe Foundation League, which is the second tier of professional football in South Africa.
Okay.
The 32 teams fall under the auspices of the National Soccer League.
Yeah.
And they report, in inverted commas, or are governed by the South African Football Association. So they have to be members of the South African Football Association. The South African Football Association is then part of the Confederation of African Football, which is CAF.
Yes.
CAF.
Yes.
Okay. And CAF is obviously governed by FIFA, as all the other federations in the world are.
Okay, so it's like that umbrella
There's
that
a
trickles
hierarchy.
down.
There's a hierarchy which starts at the top with FIFA and goes all the way down to the bottom to the football clubs that are part of the ecosystem.
And then as an agent, is everyone now affiliated to FIFA, or is that really specific?
Unfortunately, there are a number of non-licensed agents. And sadly...
Is it illegal to work as an agent if you're not licensed?
No.
Oh.
No, it's not. But
that's rough.
But it happens. And it will continue to happen.
So you spoke earlier about your time with Pirates, correct?
Well, it's a crazy story.
We're all fans here.
my first ever job in the top flight was with Manning Rangers.
Yeah.
A Durban team.
Yes.
We played at Chatsworth Stadium. And that was...
Is that why you lived on Manning Road?
Not really. But how's that as a...
We were the Manning Rangers, guys.
Yeah. So that was my first year. And in those days, football was played over a calendar year in South Africa.
Okay.
Today it's almost in line with it is in line with the big leagues throughout the world, where the season starts 1 July and ends 30th of June.
Okay.
Those days it started 1 January, ended end of December. So in 1993, it was my first year as a professional football coach, and Manning Rangers was my team that I coached. I was head coach of Manning Rangers, and then in 94 I received a call which turned my life upside down, and that was from Alvin Khoza, Dr. Khoza, and he said, I've been following your progress and I would like to offer you the job at Orlando Pirates. Now don't forget, I was still running a big construction company, Sangra Construction. I was CEO of the company.
Gosh, yes.
And in those days, Manning Rangers was, although we were professional, it was semi-professional. So I would run the company during the day and coach them at night.
Yeah.
And the players, a lot of them worked and then trained at night. But Orlando Pirates were full-time professional. So sat down with my family. They thought I was off my head, and everybody that I was associated to thought I was off my head. I sold my shares in the company to my partner, And at that stage, it was one of the 4 biggest, we had built it to one of the 4 biggest independents in KZN.
Wow.
So it was a big decision. And my family stayed back in Durban, and I moved to Johannesburg to coach Orlando Pirates, and that was in '94. So that's how my journey
Sure, that's a big decision you made.
It was a massive decision. When I look back, would I have made that decision again? For certain reasons, yes, but for others, no.
Really?
My family took a big strain. I basically, in almost a season and a half, if I saw my family once every 6 weeks for 1 or 2 days, it was a lot.
In 95, Mike would have been like under 10.
Yeah, Mike the girls were young teenagers.
Yeah, Taryn and I then were like grade 7-ish.
Correct. And I have to salute my wife, because she basically played the role of mother and father.
Wow.
For a long period of time.
Sure, Mike.
But that was the negative. On the positive side, Pirates hadn't won the league in 15 years. 19 years, the last time they'd won it was with Joe Masona playing in '75, and in '94 we won the league.
The same year.
Yeah, so there was a big celebration.
So you didn't how did you turn a team around that quickly?
I was fortunate in that Ivan had put together a wonderful team, but they had a bad start. They had played 6 games and were sitting somewhere in 10th spot. And then for the balance of the 28 games, because there were 18 teams in those days, not 16, balance of the 28 games, we only lost 1.
What?
And so we ended up beating Cape Town Spurs by a very small margin, 1 point. In the following year, we won 2 cups, and the club won the African Champions League. That's where the star comes from.
What?
I left them before the final to come back to my family, because I realized at that point in my life, if I never came back, there was a point where I might have lost my family completely.
So was it?
Understandably.
Was it a decision that was, and I don't mean Bashar but was it a decision that you felt forced upon you?
No, my wife never put me under any pressure at all to do that.
Okay.
Nobody put me under pressure.
But before the end of the season you left?
Yes. Yeah, I did. And
why didn't you wait the season out?
I couldn't wait any longer. I truly couldn't wait any longer. And my assistant coach, the late Ronald Mkandawiri, he was on the bench, a fitting tribute to him. He passed away, but a fitting tribute to him, because he was an incredible man and he had a lot to do with the success of the club. So he ended up taking the team to the final, and I watched it on television on my own with a lot of sadness in my heart,
Sure.
but a lot of joy. A lot of joy, because they played over 2 legs. They drew 2-2 here, which meant that the team from the Ivory Coast, ASEC Mimosa, had scored 2 away goals. And a low-scoring draw wouldn't have been good enough for Pirates. And 5 minutes from the end, Jerry Squasana scored the goal. And Pirates won 1-0 and ended up annexing the African Champions League, or what in those days was called the CAF Champions League.
What was your reaction when they won it?
Oh, no.
Was it tears? Was it sad?
Yeah, it was no sadness. It was incredible joy. Because it was a defining moment in the club's history, and it was a defining moment in my life. I happened to play a part of the turnaround in Orlando Pirates' success as a football club, because up until then, the local scene at the top was dominated by Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
For many years. It was an incredible moment in my life.
Mike, people often, when it comes to like a horse race, for example, there's the chat about the horse or the jockey, the horse, the jockey, the trainer, the horse, the jockey, the trainer. You've played, you've coached, you've agented. Is it more coach, more players? Like when you look at the success of a team, you stepped in and changed it around. So I want to say, okay, obviously it's the coach. But when you look at coach and players, who is the majority of the success? And I don't know if I'm asking that correctly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it's today more than ever, with advancement in technology. players run around with monitors that can tell you exactly what they're doing. Games are analysed by a group of analysts that are employed by the club. Analysts sit in front of the screen while the game is going on and feed information to the coach, because they see it in a totally different way. He sees it at eye level, they see it on screen, and they can see maybe things that the coach. So you'll see that there's an intimate relationship between the whole technical team, which, let's say, is headed by in Europe they'll call them a manager. So Jose Mourinho is a manager. In South Africa they'll call them a head coach. It's just a different terminology. So your technical team is headed by your head coach, who reports to a sporting director whose overall responsibility is the whole technical structure of the club, from juniors all the way to seniors. Okay, so that's the structure. Then you've got admin and management play an incredible part. Recruitment is basically the responsibility of the entire club, management and technical. Okay, so a coach comes in and turns things around. Let's forget about Mike Makaab. Let's talk about Michael Carrick at Manchester United.
Okay, we go to Vic, it's all you.
So I know we have an understanding of who Ruben Amorim is, because he came from Sporting Lisbon, and we have a player that we took to Europe that is setting the world alight at Sporting Lisbon, and all the top clubs in the world are after him. His current buy clause is €80 million.
What is his name?
Ousmane Diomande.
Sure.
Okay. And so Amorim went from Sporting, with his success at Sporting, to Man United as their head coach, and Hugo Vaillant was the technical director, sporting director of Man City, of Sporting. He's gone to Man City. So Amorim goes to United with a big reputation, young coach with fresh ideas, and sadly isn't successful. They then appoint a guy that they appointed many years back as a caretaker coach. He played 3 games, won 2 and drew 1, Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick comes in to a United team that is going sideways. Okay, his first game is Manchester City, who he beats. His second game is top of the log Arsenal, who he beats. He then wins his next 2 games and draws the next one. So he's ended up playing 5, winning 4 and drawing 1. Now you say to yourself, is it the players? Is it the club? Is it the coach?
Wow.
So I'm going to answer your question by saying,
how does a car drive?
In a situation like that, there was obviously something that Amorim wasn't finding with that group of players.
Wow.
There was obviously something that the previous coach at Orlando Pirates wasn't finding with that group of players. And sometimes it's the most simple things. Your ability to communicate, your ability to be straight and honest with everybody.
Yeah.
That's what players want.
Yeah.
They don't want you to pad things. They don't want you to say you're not playing because, no, you're not playing because at this point in time I don't think that you're giving me what you should be giving me, and this is what I expect from you. Plus, it's about the culture of the football club. And that's what Michael Carrick has brought. He played for Alex Ferguson when United was successful. He understands that DNA within the club that culture made the club successful.
It's a feeling.
He's not a wizard. He's just somebody that's brought something to the football club that has been able to change it. So, in modern terms, all things being equal, everybody plays an important part, including obviously your players.
Good grief. And then, now that you're in an agent's shoes for many years now, and have one, and if I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the most successful shows, not just a sports show, on our radios at the moment. I know it's a Monday and Friday at Gagazi,
6 to 7 It's called Extra Time,
and it's a remarkable show. And I know that we are on a station, but I'm saying tune in, listen up, 6 to 7. As an agent, are you allowed to have favorites still? I mean, do you, when Pirates play, you're like, Baga, or do you have to be equals?
You have to be neutral.
Oh.
And I'm often accused by the Kaizer Chiefs supporters as being a former Orlando Pirates coach and being biased.
Yeah.
I would lie if I said that a little bit of Orlando Pirates will always run in my veins.
Of course.
If I had coached Kaizer Chiefs and been welcomed that way, remember I was an unknown coach.
Yeah.
It was like taking Michael Carrick to Manchester United. Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, I was an unknown coach, and they gave me the platform for Manning Rangers gave me the first platform, the late Casey Reddy, but Dr. Ivan Korza gave me the biggest platform of my life, which changed my life entirely.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason I'm a football agent today is because I coached Orlando Pirates. I can tell you that right now. And
the blood is a little bit black and white still.
And I also coached Amazulu for 2 years, and I'm grateful to them because they also gave me a great opportunity. And then the national team, Clive Barker appointed me as one of the technical advisors when we won AFCON in '96 and qualified for the World Cup in '97.
Can I just say, I'm sorry to stop you there, but I remember, so as little girls, as Shem, the poor dads would have to take us to dancing all the time, and we'd have dancing festivals, and Clive Barker was with you guys, and we all went to Spur, and I couldn't understand why there was a line of the Spur waiters and waitresses, all with different Spur paraphernalia waiting to get everything signed.
You're correct.
By the two of you. They were just coming up to Clive and to Mike, and just, we were there having our like Chico the Clowns and not knowing what was going on, and there was a line of people, it was maybe at Pavilion or Musgrave or somewhere, and these people were coming to get their Clive Barker signature and Mike Makaab signature. We were none the wiser. Just thought this is what happened with dads.
Let me tell you a wonderful little story, short story. So somebody said to Neil Tovey, isn't it a little bit heartbreaking that you've won the African Cup of Nations, and you lifted the trophy with the late great Madiba, Nelson Mandela, in your company? Isn't it a little bit debilitating when you walk with John T. Rhodes, for example, through a mall, and everybody says hello to John T. and they hardly know who you are? He said, not at all. He said, let John T. walk with me through Soweto.
Ha! Yeah.
Nobody will ever understand the power of football in this country. Close to 30 million people are involved either as administrators, technical people, players, social or otherwise, and supporters. 30 million.
Well, I never see an empty stadium, I'll tell you that much.
Well, you'll see empty stadium when Chiefs, Pirates, Siwelele, Sundowns aren't playing, unfortunately. But that again is the polarization of support for clubs that have been successful in the past and have worked hard on their brands.
History behind them.
There's a lot of history behind them. But there's a massive support. If they're not at the stadium, let me tell you, they're watching it on their smartphones, or they're in shebeens, or they're in pubs, or they're at home having bras. The whole world in South Africa and outside of South Africa, a lot of the world comes to a standstill when Kaizer Chiefs play Orlando Pirates. I've been involved in 4 of those derbies, and I can tell you nothing gives you more. I'm getting goosebumps now.
I can see.
When I look at it today, and I project myself out of my body, and I look at myself sitting on that bench in front of, we still hold the record in the Iwisa Cup final, or the Iwisa Charity Spectacular. We beat Sundowns we beat Chiefs in the semi-final and Sundowns in the final. In an 80,000 seater stadium, there were 117,000 people. They were on the pylons. It wasn't safe. They were on the roof. They were on the roof. They were sitting in aisles. It was the most insane thing. And
I've got shivers.
But you know what the crazy thing is? My son Michael said to me, "Dad, what was the feeling like?" And I said to him, "To be honest, I don't know." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I used to switch off."
Oh, of course. You're like so in the moment.
Completely switch off. Yes. When we came on, in those days, Chiefs and Pirates supporters couldn't sit together. So at Soccer City, F&B Stadium, as you came through the tunnel, it was all Chiefs supporters on that side, and then on the left, opposite as you walked out, was Pirates, and then on the right-hand side. And so we would have to walk through the tunnel.
Gauntlet.
At the gauntlet, and the supporters would be looking down at you and hammering you. Okay, and I'll never forget. I used to say to the players, I want you to look up at them and smile.
Hey.
We're coming. We're coming.
I've got such goosey.
Okay, and I was blessed in that. Well, the first one wasn't a blessing. The game was abandoned, and they burnt the stadium.
What?
Chiefs got a penalty, and the Pirate supporters said that we're sick and tired of Chiefs being favoured. Favoured. In fact, they I don't know how they. There's a moat around the field. They got onto the field. They got onto the field. It was chaos. Okay, so the game was awarded to Chiefs quite rightly, but then 3 times thereafter, it was the next 3 games that we played against Chiefs, and I ended up being victorious. And I'll never forget, Dr. Causa said to me, he said, Mike, it's one thing winning the league in those days. It's one thing winning the league. But if you win the league and lose to Kaizer Chiefs, I'm not sure you'll be seen in the same light.
Yeah.
So I think I was incredibly blessed that I had a great group of players. But there again, who do you support locally?
Torn between 2.
No, be honest. Kaizer Chiefs.
No.
Okay.
Pirates, Sundowns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pirates and Sundowns. Okay. So in those days, Kaizer Chiefs had Neil Tovey, Dr. Kamala, Shoes Mshwe, Asen Swelengwe. I can carry on and on. They were formidable. Pirates also had a fantastic team that Dr. Causa had put together from almost 2 teams that were relegated, Jomo Cosmos and I think it was Highland Dynamos or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yes, but a quality group of players. So I can take absolutely no credit for assembling that team. We added in '95 Jerry Skosana and a few other players, but I can tell you now, I've experienced big rugby matches.
Yes.
I've experienced World Cup football matches, but I've never had the feeling, even when Bafana beat Tunisia to win the African Cup of Nations, I was in the stadium. It was remarkable.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. But I've never witnessed the feeling of that atmosphere as I did when I sat on the bench in a Chiefs Pirates derby.
My God, I can't even imagine. I know I can't. This time has gone so fast. I have to ask you last 2 questions quickly. In your opinion,
yes.
Mike Makaab's opinion, locally, internationally, who's the best player in the world at the moment?
Oh, geez, what a crazy question.
Thought if I just shoot it off, you might just shoot out a name.
Depends how you want to define great. So if you look at the current players, may not be the best in the world at the moment, but without a doubt, 2 of the greatest ever, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi.
Okay,
Still
all right.
playing at their age.
Yes, okay.
Okay, and I can't choose between the 2.
And they're the GOATs for a reason. Oh, you can't choose between.
No, I can't, because they're 2 totally different players.
Have you met any of them?
Ronaldo remotely through his agent, George Mendes.
And is there anyone in the international football field, I think that's the right word, that you would like fanboy over? Is there a coach, a manager?
Jose Mourinho.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering, someone that you'd be like, ow!
I'm not a fan, but there would be nothing more that I would enjoy than being able to sit and pick his brain, because he's the most intriguing person.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
His wife said that he would finish a game, they would always be in the stands, his wife and his children. He'd then take him out for supper, and he would say, no football at supper table. He'd take them out to a restaurant, and she said in the first 10 minutes that was the case. Then he'd say to her, what did you think of the game today? And she said, I wasn't knowledgeable. And then he said, do you think I made the right substitutions?
I don't know, dude.
I've read his book. It's a phenomenal read.
Wow.
And yeah, he's the one that I would love to have met.
Mike Makaab, I cannot tell you how grateful you are for not just an interview, but like real time. Real time. Thank you for opening up to us and with us, and thank you for being such an important part of my growing up. You know, and in hindsight, you realize just how much you parents were doing for us. Whether it was just coming to the house, where there was lifts out, where there was dancing, where there was the costumes, with so much. And so, on behalf of all of us girls that were constantly at your house, thank you so much for everything you did for us.
It's an absolute pleasure, and I want to thank you and PlayZN for hosting me. It's been remarkable. Honestly, it's been lovely, and I'd love to do this again with you.
I mean, I think we could definitely make time for you anytime you like.
No, I would love to do it again with you, and maybe we'll touch on some different aspects.
And well done on your incredible show and on everything, really. You're just
Thank
a
you.
good human.
Thank
I
you
love
so
you
much.
much.